Hiya, I'm Jasper, and welcome to your video review for Interstellar. It's a movie starring Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Jessica Chastain, Michael Caine, Casey Affleck, a few other people. But as always, I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the furry. To start off the furry, there's some barking dogs. It's kind of the big thing. Yeah, moving on to the good and the bad. So this movie came out in 2014. It's 2 hours and 49 minutes long, and it's by Christopher Nolan. I will fully admit that most of the time, I'm a Christopher Nolan fan. I like most of his works. Not really a big fan of Tenet. I don't think it quite worked, but this film is absolutely, positively fantastic. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. And even though it's 2 hours and 49 minutes long, I have rewatched it several times, and I will continue to rewatch it because this is one of those movies that has absolutely spectacular visuals, just spectacular visuals, with absolutely memorable, gut-wrenching music that hits you every single time you watch it. Every time you watch this movie, when you see what's happening, and then the music's getting to you, and you have Oscar-nominated and Oscar-winning actors galore in this movie, and every single one of them is just bringing their A game for every second of the film. I cannot stress enough just how perfectly every single thing works in this movie. I loved every single minute that it was on screen, and I don't think there was an extra thing, scene, whatever, that should have been cut to clean up the runtime, because they needed every single second of film that they used, that they had in this movie. They needed it, and it was perfect. It wasn't too much. I didn't feel like anything got cut off and that they should have had more of this, that, or the other thing. I think that it was the exact right amount of time, and oh man, I cannot get over just how perfectly everything came together for this movie. Especially the music. You want to have something just be super tense and just so important and thrilling. You just put on this soundtrack and you will just feel it come to you. If you've seen Sicario, the first time you watch Sicario, assuming it wasn't spoiled for you, the bridge scene going back into America, that scene, that amount of like, just that feeling, you will get that in this film every time you watch this film. Whereas with Sicario, once you know what's going to happen, like, the rewatch is not quite as intense, but this one keeps you every single time. And oh man, there wasn't a single bad visual in this. It all holds up today, and I really, there's nothing bad about this movie. Nothing. It is all perfect. So thank you, Christopher Nolan, the cast, and the crew, and the composer. Just thank you for making this movie, and everyone should go and watch this movie because it is just that good. For those of you that somehow still are not convinced and haven't any clue about what it's about, essentially there's a blight, whatever the blight is, fungus, whatever, that's basically killing off crops in the world. So we're narrowing our food choices, so we're having to dedicate things to, like, well, we need farmers because the world's running out of edible food. And so there's this last-ditch mission to go to this mysterious wormhole that's essentially opened up, and it might be their last great hope to find a habitable planet, and what all that entails. And as far as I can tell, and as far as what I get from the trivia, is basically everything in this is plausible science. Like, you're not just coming up with, like, oh, shields and impulse drives and, warp drive and all that jazz. Like, essentially everything in this movie is done with just, like, very close to the technology that we have today, with just, like, a little bit more advancement, and then, like, scientifically plausible, because scientists, like physicists, were like, yeah, that works. So, and there was apparently, like, a bunch of debate on this, that, and the other thing, and it's so good. It's so good. I can't even describe to you how good it is. And the sound design, because, in space there's not sound, but as soon as you start getting air in something, boom, like the alarms and everything else blasting off, like, you're going to hear that. I'm not going to go any more into this film because I feel like already talking about what has happened, like just that little explanation of the plot, has already kind of spoiled a couple of things for you, and I'm not going to spoil anything else. You just need to see this movie because it's that good, and I'm not going to describe all the rest of the movie in a spoiler review because I would just tell you about the whole movie because everything is perfect with it. So that's all I have for this one. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you at the next one. Bye.